Good evening. Welcome to Talking Politics. I'm your host this evening, Mia Skanga. And tonight you're going to be meeting 3 of the 8 candidates who are running for the Jersey City Board of Ed. If you saw our other show, you met the other 4 of the 8. Like I mentioned, Carol couldn't make it because she had other plans, but we do have one of the other incumbents here, Bertram, even though he's only been on the board for about 6-7 months tops, whatever. He's running for re-election for a full 3-year term. And there are 3 positions that are available. And like I mentioned before, the election is Tuesday, November 4th, and the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you have not registered to vote or you moved, please do so by October 14th. And you can download the forms online and contact the Hudson County Board of Elections. Mail in the forms or visit them personally. And typically they have a couple of late nights before that deadline. So why don't we start with you, Joel? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name is Joel Torres. I'm a parent of 3 children who are currently in a Jersey City public school. I've born and raised in Jersey City. I've been here for 30 years of my life, bouncing around different parts of the city. Right now I live in the Heights, very active in the community. I'm currently a Parent-Teacher Association president at our local school. I've been that for 2 years now, working throughout actively for the past 6 or 7 years since my daughter started at the school. And it's a big pleasure to work in the schools and be active in the community.
And which school is that?
It's PS 27, Alfred E. Zampella.
Oh, okay, fine. Bertram?
Thank you, Mia. My name is Bertram Opokwasili, and I'm running for the School Board of Education because I have 3 kids as well in the Jersey City Public Schools, and I want to ensure that they get an excellent education and that their classmates get an excellent education and that all Jersey City children get an excellent education.
Okay, all right. Gerard?
Gerald.
Gerald?
Gerald Lyons. I've been teaching in Jersey City for 27 years, and I have been working with different groups in the city. I work with Leonard Gordon Park. I've done a lot of the community service things with my students. I decided to come run for the Board of Ed again. I was on there from September 2012 till this past January because I thought it was a great opportunity to help the other schools in the city to set solid foundations for their educations. And I have a master's plus 100 credits in education, 6 teaching certifications, and 27 plus years as an educator. I want to bring all that back to the board.
Okay, fine. Now, when you were on the board, you replaced
Marvin Adamus.
Okay, fine, because I think he became a municipal judge in Newark, so
Yes.
he had to leave the board. Okay, fine. So what was your experience with the board at that time?
It was the most incredible learning experience I ever had. It was an opportunity to see how these things run. And I felt as an educator, I was able to bring a lot of my experiences onto the board. Many issues came up while I was there, including evaluations, SGOs, new systems that are being put into schools, changes in curriculums. And as someone that's in a classroom every day, I was able to let the other board members know when people came up to the podium to speak what we were talking about. So I felt I had it was a great asset to have someone there that's in the classroom every day that knows what was going on, especially with the recent changes.
Okay. And Bertram, you replaced Suzanne Mack, correct?
Yes, I did.
Right. Yeah, she resigned after over 18 years on the board.
That is correct.
Right.
Amazing service that she gave to Jersey City.
Right.
I replaced her in May 2014, and it's been a great experience to be on the board. I think that we are on the right track. We're moving kids forward, and we have the right plan in terms of Dr. Lyles coming in has a great plan to focus on student achievement and education for all kids in Jersey City, and I just want to be a part of that and help move that forward. I know that there's a lot of work to do, but we're definitely on the right track.
Oh, okay, fine. How did you get selected?
I believe that
Did you file, was it taking applications or something
they
like
were
that?
they were taking applications, and I filled in an application. I told my reasons for wanting to be on the Board of Education, and I believe, Joel, you did the same
Yes.
as well, and I think some other candidates did the same, and we talked in an open forum at one of the board meetings as well, and then after that talk, they selected from the pool, and I was lucky enough to get selected.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, fine. And Joel, have you attended board meetings?
Yes, for the past 2 years I've been in graduate school. I was getting my master's in public and organizational relations. so I would sporadically attend the meetings when I didn't have school. However, before then I was very active in the Board of Education meetings, and after the fact, when I graduated in May, I once again began attending the
Oh,
meetings.
okay, fine. So what would you like to accomplish if you were on the board?
One of my main goals is building the relationships within all the stakeholders that are in the district. There are some issues that are going on within the district that have created a low morale situation when it comes to the parents, when it comes to the teachers, when it
Such
comes to the
as?
students. When it comes to the teachers, there's been issues with the contract situation where our teachers don't have a contract that they deserve that's fair and equitable. When it comes to the parents, as you most likely know, in January they created a policy where they're blocking public comments. And unfortunately for the parents that cannot attend, and I've heard this throughout the communities wherever I go, it's hard for them to find out the real issues that are going on in the schools because you're not hearing the public comments. You're not hearing what the parents, what the community members have to say. With the students as well, we've seen many of the students go up and they speak. They speak very eloquently. They're defending their teachers. They're defending their community. They're talking about issues that are coming up, and you cannot hear that when you can't attend the meetings. And a lot of it is changing that culture. One of my main goals is changing this culture, building a culture of respect, something that I did in PS 27. And when I took over 2 years ago, we had low morale. We had not a great relationship with our teachers, not a great relationship with our parents. In my first year, when I took over, the year before, we had 12 members of our Parent-Teacher Association. We boosted it up to 70. This year, in one short month, we already have 80 members.
That's great.
And that's the relationship building.
Good, good. Bertram, what do you see are some of the issues facing the board that you'd like to tackle, so to speak?
Well, I think the number one issue is student achievement and education. The reason I am an attorney, and I used to be a family law clerk in Newark, Essex Court, and I worked on a lot of DIFAS cases. And when I see children and young adults, what they're lacking and what they need to be empowered with is education. So we need to make all of our schools excellent. And that's what I see.
We've been trying that for a long time.
Well, and you know what?
Long time.
And luckily, we have a new superintendent because it seemed that in the prior administration there were some issues, and Marcia Lyles came on in 2012. We are now in 2014. There is a plan. She has a plan to move forward. She's been taking care of an enormous amount of issues, but we're moving forward. We have advanced our advanced placement offerings to students, so more students are taking advanced placement classes. Innovation High offers dual credit high school and college courses, put stakes in the ground for PS 20, so things are moving ahead, and we have to keep on moving forward. We have to be positive, and we have to understand that our children, we have to invest in our children and make all our schools excellent.
Okay. How about you, Gerald?
There has been a wall of silence now between the board and the community, and unfortunately it's been strengthened by the decision to no longer videotape public comments. I have the ACLU now working with me because it is illegal what they're doing, and we're going to have that overturned. They said that they don't want people making comments that they don't agree with. They don't want people from the public that don't want to be videotaped. That's illegal also. And they've taken away. They've reduced it to 5 minutes one time, and now they will not even allow that to be covered. In June or July at the board meeting, 2.5 hours worth of public comments made by teachers and parents were brought up about Source for Teachers. 2.5 hours people stood there and said, this system is horrendous, it's a waste of our money, it's unsafe. And this past week we just had an incident showing how unsafe it is. We had a substitute teacher that slapped a student. These people that have walked out of buildings, people have left kids alone at the end of the day during a snowstorm, the kids have walked out in the street. And for 2.5 hours, people spoke about this, but you would never know that because that is no longer videotaped. And after the 2.5 hours, the board passed, it wasn't unanimous, the board passed to bring back that company to our district for another cost of $10,500 per school day to bring back our taxpayer money that should be going to the classrooms. That was brought up again. So it didn't matter what people said for 2.5 hours. Unfortunately, again, people don't realize that you have to listen to what the public has to say. And if you're not even going to allow them to videotape the public comments, it's telling me you don't really care what the public has to say.
Well, that's incorrect. I mean, it's a two-way street. In regards to the real problem was absenteeism in the classes. I think every parent would agree. Every parent would agree that they want the teachers to be in the classrooms to teach their children. That's what we want here in Jersey City because that's going to help student achievement. And in order for those classrooms to be filled, we have to figure out a way to deal with teacher absenteeism in a respectful and in this matter a quick way, because every day a student goes without a teacher, he's not really learning. Okay, so that's the real problem. And in regards to not listening, I think communication could be better. Like I said, things need to be worked on, but I think that we're heading in the right direction, and we're going to deal with some issues that need to be dealt with. I've only been on the board for a couple of months,
right.
but I've seen a lot of people who have a lot of respect for the teachers here. And in regards to what Joel said about the contract, we're working on a fair contract for all the teachers and all the kids at this point. And it's already in public in terms of mediation. We've entered mediation with the JCEA for a fair contract for all teachers and all children here in Jersey City.
Well, if the article in the
respond
Jersey...
to what he said, though.
Right.
My point was that they are no longer videotaping public comments.
Right.
Do you disagree with it, Mr. Opokwasili?
I don't disagree with your
Is that the
comments.
truth?
No, it's true.
It's the truth.
I don't
Have you
disagree with
ever,
your
and you're
comment,
6 months on
but-
the board, have you ever opened up and said you disagree with that from the board? In fact, no one says a word. No one says a word when they're up there. When we go up there and speak, and I've spoken at every board meeting since I'm off except for August, no one responds to the statements that we make up there. There's been a wall of silence now. Marilyn Roman is the one that opens up her mouth and says, addressing this person's comments. Otherwise, nothing is said. So you have hours of people coming up there and saying stuff. No one's responding. There's no transparency now. That's the morale buster. People don't feel like their comments are taken seriously, and people that can't get to board meetings don't even know what we have to say anymore. It is illegal. It's immoral. You should allow public comments at a public board meeting by public elected
I
officials.
agree with you wholeheartedly. We had
Thank
the
you.
same problem with the city council trying to limit us to 5 minutes, but luckily enough new faces showed up that
Thank you.
That was voted down. Not that I want to dismiss that, but what are your thoughts on the budget? It's $665 million. The teachers, I read in a recent article, they're looking for 18 to 20% over 3 years. I thought, oh my God, that's a huge increase. That's like another 18% increase. I mean, in terms of the salaries, and they're capped at 2% increase in terms of additional taxation. What do you think about it, Joel?
Well, first off, I think the article you're referencing
Yeah,
was
it's
a
in
bit,
the Jersey Journal.
It was a bit inaccurate. There was an anonymous source that told the newspaper X, Y, and Z, and they published that it was a 19% increase within the next 3 years.
Right.
If you read
I thought it was 18, was 6% a year, which is
something
in the
around
real
that.
world that's pretty outrageous.
something around that lines,
Yeah.
but if you read a statement that was made by the board president, which was made public as well, it stated that they were looking at somewhere around 2%, looking at something with Patterson. So that number seems somewhat inaccurate to me when I read the article, because I was reading what the board president said. To go back to that situation, as Mr. Opokwasili has stated, this is something that the board and the teachers are negotiating. It should be something in private. It's very disrespectful when anonymous sources come out making these erroneous headlines that confuse the public, as I just mentioned. When it goes back to the budget, as you stated, back before the budget was passed, I went to a meeting that was lightly attended, and I had made statements because I saw that there were budget cuts being made to a lot of the educational services, and there was a lot of money going to other places. Unfortunately, I disagreed with that. I asked questions, as Mr. Lyons has stated. When you ask questions and there's no public comment, no one really needs to answer you. So therefore, my questions and my concerns were not answered, and it went from there. So when I look at the budget, I look at these type of things when it comes to educational services, resources and supplies for all schools, not just some, and making sure that all our children have the best opportunity when it comes to budgetary and financing to succeed.
Okay, fine. Just to change the topic just a bit, Bertram, what do you think about chartered schools?
I think that in regards, my job as a board member is to make sure that all public schools are wonderful and excellent. In regards to charter schools, I'm not against charter schools, and I'm not. What I'm for is parent choice. If the parents make the choice to have their kids in a certain school because they feel that school meets their needs, then that's fantastic. But my job as a board member would be to make sure that all of our schools are excellent so that the parents choose Jersey City Public Schools and not choose a charter school.
Which is a public school, though. It's funded by public monies, right? What?
That's true.
Right.
But, you know, the
It's
Jersey City
substantially
public
less
schools.
money than we pay for the public schools. Gerald, what do you think?
There's several issues that come up, Mia. One is that you have, like when Beloved Community became a charter school in our city, when I was on the board, $4 million came out of our budget that September to go to Beloved Community charter schools. And
But what is the cost per child, though? I mean, those are children that would be going to a public school. So instead of going to school 3 and 4, they went to Beloved. I mean, it's the
the
same.
money move, though? So what?
Yeah, of course, they
here's
have
my
to-
point.
they have
I'm
to
not saying they
educate them.
shouldn't. What I'm saying is that the district needs to be better prepared for handling, because we just had a big increase with the Boys and Girls Club open this year. Beloved Community is growing again. And we have to plan. We're supposed to be sitting there saying, where are we allocating this money? So there needs to be some kind of plan that's going to give you short-term goals and long-term goals of where that money is going to be spent. Because if you tell us in September, oh, this school is opening up and you're going to lose another $4 million, how do you deal with that? How does your budget react to you having all this money being taken out? I'm not running for the public schools, for the charter schools. I'm running for the public schools. I want to do whatever I can to make the public schools better. I'm in a school where we get 2,000 applications for 200 spots. I would love to see every high school in Jersey City, every grammar school have a line saying, hey, we want to get in here. If not, this is another good alternative. And presently, that's not the situation. Unfortunately, people look elsewhere. I want to make our schools as good as they can be so people don't have to look elsewhere. So people can look right within our own city and say, there's a school right in my corner that's offering good services for my students, for my children. And hopefully, if all of us work together and embrace everyone, this is not done by 9 board members. No matter what they say, but when you're up there, you'll know, Joe, when you go up there, they attack us. The public comes up and says, no one's doing anything, we waste their money, everything else. There's 9 of you volunteering to do what you can to make the schools better. Those 9 cannot do it on their own. You have to embrace the community. You have to get the law, the police departments, the religious community, the businesses. Get everyone involved as a team, and then you can sit down and say, how can we prepare our kids for the future? It has to be all assets brought together.
Oh, okay, fine. And you want to answer that question about chartered schools?
Well, as stated before, I'm running for the public schools.
Okay.
I respect parent choice. However, I'm an advocate for the public schools. I have my children in public schools, and I'll continue to be an advocate for the public schools.
Okay, fine. Now, in terms of committees, a lot of them are during the day. I don't know how people do that if they have a...
Committees were taken away.
Oh,
There's
the
no more committees.
There are no more
They
committees?
disbanded them.
They did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Our once-a-month meeting committees, I was the chair of the special ed committee, it's all over. That's no longer taking place.
There's no facilities committee or anything like that?
Special ed, it's all gone. They stopped that.
Oh, I had no idea.
Which was another thing we've constantly fight about, because when I was the chair of special ed, I had to meet with that department every month. And Dr. Christina would tell us what's going on. And then I would report back to the rest of the board. You can't, maybe Marilyn can because she's retired, but most of us have other commitments. You
Right.
cannot go to all these 9 meetings a month. So I would come back and I'd report to everyone else. This with the special ed. So then we voted on it. We knew what we were voting on.
Right.
Now that's stopped.
Right. I heard that a lot. Maybe you can confirm this, Bertram. I've heard that a lot of the business is really done via email between the members. If there's no committee meetings and you have... How often are the Board of Ed meetings? Once a month? Right.
We have caucus meetings,
Okay.
and we have the board meeting.
And the board meeting.
So we have 2 meetings a month.
Okay. And what do? Get a packet about a week before your caucus meeting so
That
you
is
can
correct.
review it?
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
have any questions, and you ask them at the caucus meeting?
That is correct.
And the caucus meeting is not open to the public, correct?
No, it is open to the public.
Oh, it is open.
And that's the thing about opening communication,
Right.
which is one of Dr. Lyle's, points. We open communication with the communities. Say, for example, we have the heads of the PT. A proposition could be hypothetically to have the heads of the PTAs come to the caucus meeting and talk about their problems in their communities or issues that they're having in their communities. Because when the communication line is open, then we'll move forward as a community, and we'll move our Jersey City schools forward. And I think that the caucus is a very good opportunity for any Jersey City resident to
Is
come.
that during the day or in the evening?
That's during the evening.
That's
during the
during the
evening. It
evening.
starts at the same time as the regular meeting, but it's 6 o'clock on the previous Tuesday. So we'll have the caucus meeting on Tuesday, and
Now,
then
is
we'll
that
have
the
the
third
board meeting
Tuesday of the month,
on
or which
Thursday.
Tuesday is that?
Well, usually it's the third Tuesday
Thursday,
of the month.
Tuesday of the month.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. And I think that that would help frame some of these issues because as Gerald said, sometimes when you're on the board, there's a lot of yelling back and forth. But I think that one of the tenets is to reach out to community and get back from their leaders what exactly is going on. You know, have them speak for themselves, have the leaders of the PTA associations, because in Jersey City we have a strong community involvement, and it's wonderful. I mean, you know, in my community, you know, my school went from being one of the worst to like one of the best, where everybody wants to go there. And
Which school is that?
PS3 near
Oh.
Ferris. And Dr. Lyles brought in an amazing principal, Principal Michelle. And I think that when we have leaders that inspire and leaders that focus on student achievement and leaders that, you know, want to take care of the whole child, then, you know, we're doing a good job. And we have to make sure that all of our schools have that.
Okay.
And,
One of the complaints I've heard is that there is now total emphasis on everybody going to college. And so a lot of the vocational training has gone by the wayside. And that is the complete opposite of what you're reading in the press now, where, you know, even some very successful people say, you know, you may not necessarily need a college education, you do it online, because a lot of people end up, you know, graduating with debt. And there's certainly a lot of trades out there that are always looking for people. But they say the current administration under Dr. Lyles is everything about college, 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 and nothing about vocational. And this is, you know, there's a lot of blue-collar families here that they've made a nice living, whether it was a
Can I
plumber,
respond to that?
electrician, or whatever.
The current deficit in our country for college loans is over $1 trillion. $1 trillion. One of my students graduated. He graduated from Rutgers. He's got his history certification. He passed his praxis for Spanish. He took that also. So he's pushing carts in Walmart. There's no jobs for
Right.
people. And I'm telling my kids, you have to look and research what's out there. Dr. Tracy Severance, who's the chief academic officer in the state of New Jersey for education, she said the biggest problem we have right now is we're trying to prepare kids for jobs that don't exist yet. This is why you have to embrace the community. Talk to the banks downtown. Talk to these people and say, where will you need people in 4 years? Just putting everyone through college, the president of Princeton came out and said, if you graduate and you've done well and you have a 4-year degree and you're $100,000 in debt, you've made a huge mistake. You know, so what we need to do is say, work with the community college. If you're going to go there, do 2 years inexpensively. Do the STAR program there. See what you can do. Find out what kind of jobs are out there for you. Because right now, just telling everyone this is the path, when our district used to have incredible vocation programs, which have gone to by the wayside, we need to start working on
Did they
seeing-
close the facilities, or what happened? I don't understand what happened.
A lot of the programs have been shut down. A lot of the dirty trades are gone. If you went into the trades that we don't need anymore, plumbing, carpentry, mason, you can't find a plumber. You can't find a mason. Those trades were shut down. They moved a lot into technology. And now the technology field is still doing well, but it's
Right.
starting to be crowded. There's still a big need for people that want to work with their hands that kind of learn those trades, you know?
But these are communications that, you know, we need to have as a community, as all of
Agreed.
Jersey City, right?
Agreed.
And the thing is, we still want to prepare our children from K to 12 to be excellent. Now, what the loans and everything that they get afterwards.
Well, that's a little
you know,
naive on the person's part as well,
But let's. I'm
Correct.
not. Well, I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to say is that if you make sure that the whole child is taken care of, and some of these trades come in, or trade,
Vo-Tech schools.
education,
Yeah.
right? But we also prepare them for maybe some of the tech things that are out there, tech jobs that can be out there. We prepare them for the future. We make sure that our students are strong and can compete with, this century's job market.
Right.
We can't pull back from that. We have to move forward and make sure that when somebody looks at a Jersey City child, they know they got a great education and they'll get the leg up.
Okay, fine. You have any thoughts on that?
Just a quick interjection. When Bertram spoke earlier about the meetings with the community, meeting with the PTAs, there are already meetings that take place. There are Title I meetings, there are citywide parent meetings.
Absolutely.
Their PTA, or not PTA, the board members don't usually go to these meetings, so it would be more of a waste of, not a waste of time, but more of
No, but I said the
waste of,
PTA people
resources
come
to
to the
have.
caucus meetings. The PTA leadership come to the caucus meetings and express to the board what their communities need, what their communities
we do that
want.
already, though. We do
And
that
I
at
have
the
a wife
citywide-
on the board of the
citywide
PTA
meetings,
at my
it would-
PTA,
it
so
would
yeah,
be
I
good
mean,
to
I
see
know.
board members at those meetings. It would
Yeah,
be good to see
absolutely.
board members at all community meetings, because then we'd get
Absolutely.
to do all of the things that we're already talking about.
Absolutely.
That would be most effective that way.
And it was filmed. They'd be able to watch it.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have to worry about attending it.
Right. Okay. Gerald, why don't we start with you? Also, could you tell everybody whether you're affiliated with other members, you're running as part of a team? Well, why don't you tell the public why should they vote for you?
First, I want to preface it with anyone that's running, I respect because you're getting involved. So whether we agree with things, disagree, even Marilyn Roman, who's my mentor, there's been times we don't agree. But I respect the fact that she's doing it for the right reasons, and I have the utmost respect for her for her commitment to education. So any one of the 7 people here, and Carol Harrison Arnold, who wasn't here today, I respect for us trying to do it for the right reason. I'm running with Joel. I'm sorry, I'm not running with Joel. Joel and Lorenzo and I are supported by the JCA. I'm running with Gina and Lorenzo because I've been running with them for the past 18 months, and I decided to keep working with that team. It is not a dig against anyone else that's out there. I know Joel's been to numerous meetings. I know Mr. Pokwasili's been on the board now, and Carol's been on there for years and ran an education forum for kids for a summer program. And so this is not an attack. My goal is just to get people on there who are committed to public education for our public schools to do the time it's going to take every month to make sure our schools can be the best they can be. And part of that's going to be a respect to the audience that comes there and work with the community to see what input we can get from them to make our schools fantastic.
Okay. Bertram?
I'm running with Parents for Excellence. I'm running with Carol Harrison Arnold, who is position 6H, and I'm running with Monica Kress, who is position 8H. My position is 2H, and I believe that the people that I'm running with, Parents for Excellence, they believe in educating all children of Jersey City, and like Gerald said, I have utmost respect for everybody who's running because they're taking their time, they're volunteering to bring the best to Jersey City children, and I applaud that. But I believe that Carol, Monica, and myself, that we can move Jersey City children forward. We're on the right track, and I want to continue on that right track. I want to, nothing is, we need to do some work, but I think that if you elect us, we'll be able to move these children forward. Thank you so much.
What about you, Joel?
Joel Torres, like I said, independent candidate. As Gerald mentioned, I am endorsed by the Jersey City Education Association and the Teachers of Jersey City.
Are you? Who are the other 2 that are endorsed?
Gerald Lyons and Lorenzo Richardson. Endorsed by the Teachers
So the
Union.
3 of you.
Yes. I'm an independent candidate. My parents are blue-collar workers, born and raised. Well, I was born and raised in Jersey City. They came here in the 70s from Puerto Rico. I'm very committed to the community, very committed to the children. My whole thing is taking action and getting results. I've gotten a lot of results where I'm at PS27. I want to bring that to the district-wide level. And as stated before, I have a lot of respect for everybody that's currently on the board and a lot of respect for everybody running this year. But 3H, Joel Torres, independent voice for all of the parents and children.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Well, sorry to have rushed you at the end, but thank you so much for being on the show. Don't forget to vote Tuesday, November 4th. That is part of the general election, and tell your friends and neighbors about Talking Politics. And we're also on YouTube as well as on talkingpolitics.net. And as for Carol, she was on talkingpolitics.net about 3 years ago, so that show is streaming off the TV website, talkingpolitics.net. So thank you so much, and thanks for watching. Good night.